Welcome to Sonic VA's Landing American Clients with a money-making lead generation strategy. So tonight we're going to talk about lead generation and really how we at Sonic VA are able to generate leads. I have a VA agency, Sonic VA, that has been functioning informally since 2013. I've been doing outsourcing from the US to the Philippines since that time. We officially launched the brand Sonic VA in January 2020, right before the pandemic started, which was well timed because as soon as the pandemic hit, everyone in the US that wanted to do business needed to have virtual workers. So it was really a boom time for virtual assisting. The marketplace right now for Filipino virtual assistants looking to work with foreign clients is massive. It's also hyper competitive. So the things we'll talk about tonight will benefit you when it comes to helping you find clients. We'll really focus on how to make you stand out. Right? So as a Filipino virtual assistant competing with other Filipino virtual assistants, competing with people all around the world for virtual work, what can you do to ensure that you have very effective lead generation? And this is really a bonus that once you figure out your own lead generation, then you can sell that as a service to clients. It's the number one need right now among American small business owners is lead generation. That finding good quality leads is something that is timeless, but right now it's very timely. So we'll talk about that tonight as well. The training will focus on how Filipino virtual assistants like yourselves can land more American clients using our tried and true money-making lead generation strategy. The goal is for trainees of this program to become indispensable assets to their clients and generating high quality leads, ensuring a symbiotic, productive, and mutually prosperous relationship. So here's the most important thing I'll tell you tonight. If your clients make money, then you're going to stay working with them. If your clients don't make money, then they're going to not be able to afford you for very long. And most clients don't make money because they don't have good lead generation. They have a great idea, they have a great concept, they have something they think they can market, but if they can't get enough buyers, then they're not going to survive. So I think every Filipino virtual assistant should know about lead generation, both for themselves to find good leads and then to help their clients find good leads. A VA is only as successful as their clients. You can be a great VA, but if you have bad clients that aren't successful, you're going to constantly be looking for more clients. And the idea is to find good clients so you don't have a lot of turnover. We'll talk about how you can identify the right clients and how you can know which skills to offer and which niches to be part of, which industries that will help you in your quest to be a great virtual assistant. So that's really the focus of our talk tonight. About myself, my name is Dan Meyer. I'm a virtual staffing expert. I have owned a virtual staffing agency for a couple of years now, which is a spinoff of an outsourcing company. I actually used to own a BPO company, or actually, I should say, I used to own a call center in the Philippines. We actually converted it to 100% virtual back in 2018. So we currently have about 60 virtual employees working with my combined companies. And of those, we have about a dozen virtual assistants. And the VA support American clients doing things like video editing, graphic design, social media management, and of course, lead generation. I do these webinars usually once or twice a month. I also speak a lot in the Philippines. I've done a lot of face-to-face trainings. I've been a speaker at various events on topics like virtual staffing and outsourcing and being a digital nomad and how to what the future of work is. And so basically I've spent most of my life speaking about how to become good at something. And tonight we're going to talk about how to become good at lead generation. And that's really, again, the most important thing that you can do as a VA is have good lead generation. I've been doing this in the Philippines since 2011. So obviously I've been pretty successful. My businesses have been profitable and we've been able to constantly bring in new clients and maintain existing clients. And we've stayed in business for quite a while. So that's really me, my background. I'm currently here in the Philippines. I actually stay most of the time in Manila. All right, so this is why I'll share with you my knowledge because I'm an American business owner. I speak with a lot of American business owners all the time, and I help them find virtual assistants. And all my virtual assistants come from the Philippines. So, again, if you're hoping to find work, if you're looking to grow your virtual assisting business, then at the end of this conversation tonight, we'll talk about opportunities for us to collaborate together. So we're going to talk about four things tonight. The first couple of topics are how to define your target audience. So how do you know who to market to? A lot of people make a mistake, both virtual assistants as well as just business owners in general. They try to be everything to everybody. You try to take whatever work you can, you do whatever you can do to make a little money. And when you start out, you may have to do that. But your goal should be able to know where you are best served, where you can provide the best service, where you can make the most money, where you can have the most consistent impact, and where you can have the most fun. You have to be able to define your target audience to do that. So we'll talk about that tonight. We'll also talk about how to develop a strong value proposition. So basically, you want to be able to convince people that you're the right choice because you're not competing in a vacuum. You're competing with millions of other people. Whenever we at Sonic VA have a job opening and we post it on, say, Online Jobs PH, within a matter of hours, we usually get about 200 applicants. And the way Online Jobs PH is set up, you only can get 200 applicants per posting. So whenever we post something, we have to sort through those 200 applicants to figure out who's the one we're going to hire. And we generally hire the person who has the best value proposition, who makes me think that we can work together in a way that will benefit all three of us, me, you, and the client. So we'll talk about value proposition tonight. We're also going to talk about a couple other topics, how to turn your social media into a funnel, a lead funnel. The idea is that you have all this information out there in the internet and online and in social media that you're competing for. But once you get someone's attention, you want to put them through a process that funnels them from when they first become knowledgeable of you, when they first come across your posts or what you're doing online, to the point where they become a paying client. So this funnel is something we'll talk about tonight as well. I'll give you a couple of examples of how it works, and then share with you a couple tips on how to go ahead and get started. And then we'll wrap up tonight talking about tips on creating high quality content. So the whole point of having a successful funnel is you've got to have good content. And here's the thing where a lot of Filipino virtual assistants, and I've talked to thousands, I've literally trained thousands of virtual assistants. I've done through these webinars and through face-to-face trainings. I've interviewed a couple of thousand Filipino virtual assistants myself, trying to fill different requirements for our clients. And a big area people struggle is providing high quality content, things that get attention, that get engagement. This is what we're going to focus on tonight. These four things, right? So know your target market, have a good value proposition, use social media as a lead funnel, and provide good high quality content to your audience so they become customers. Hope that makes sense. That's really kind of be the gist of our conversation tonight. I'll go through each bullet point, share some examples, talk about how we do it at Sonic VA. Defining the target audience is crucial for a Filipino virtual assistant to understand who they are serving and how to best communicate their value. So I find the most successful virtual assistants are ones that know their niche. And what I mean by that is you have to kind of figure out what industry you want to serve. When you start out, you may not know. So you try a little bit of everything. But if you're going to survive as a virtual assistant through your first year and your second and your third year as a VA, you probably figured out where you can have the most impact. And what I mean by impact is that you're able to find work consistently, you're able to provide a good value to the customer, and they keep paying you. And you develop an expertise in that industry. Say, for example, a common one is real estate. There are a lot of real estate agents that require a virtual assistant to help them manage their lead generation, to help them manage their appointment setting, to help them manage their social media, to do follow-up, to provide documents. So a lot of businesses exist and survive based on virtual workers. And so if you're good at understanding the American, real estate market, then you're going to be able to find work. And the idea here is that you can't just do it. You have to start getting experience. So most people will, kind of stumble across something and find out they're really good at it. And once you do that, then you keep doing more and more of it. But you got to figure that out. And you can't spend too much time trying to be a generalist, or you won't be successful as a VA. It's very, very hard to have consistent, well paying clients that will pay you to do a little bit of everything. Most clients want you to specialize. And so you'll see most virtual assistants will specialize their skill sets. Some are better at lead generation, some are better at social media management, some are great video editors or graphic designers. So that's really what you want to figure out is what you're best at. And then you want to figure out how to communicate that to your clients so that they know you're best at it. And you want to do that in a certain niche or industry. So you start by asking yourself, who am I as a virtual assistant? You start by evaluating your own skills and expertise, whether it be video editing, graphics, web development, social media management, lead generation. What are you good at? You're not quite sure what you're good at, then you experiment. So you know yourself, right? What are you good at? What do you do? Why do you do it? Do you love doing it? Will people pay you to do it? And then you want to know your client. Identify common challenges that potential clients face. If you can address and provide solution to these pain points, it helps in narrowing down your audience. Again, if you have an interest, if you have a general background, if you have previous work experience in a certain area, that's where you start. Now, if you're good in IT and you're good at doing things like setting up websites or building sales funnels, then that's probably your niche already. If you've had customer service experience, you worked in a call center, you're good at chat support, well, then you've already got, as part of that figured out. So it's better, believe it or not, to market yourself as a chat support expert than it is to say I'm a general VA. Most business owners don't want somebody who's good at everything. They want somebody who's great at what they need. And yes, not every client will need chat support, but the people that want chat support really, really need it. And they're willing to pay for it. And it's an important part of what they want. It's really, again, better to know what the client needs, know what you're good at, and know where that match is at. Now, some people have no background in video editing or graphics and can learn it and become good at it. Some people may think they know social media and figure out after a while how to get really, really good at social media. But again, a lot of it's going to be, what do you do right now that you enjoy? What is your passion? What is your interest? What do you enjoy doing? And then figuring out the clients that need that skill set. So, for example, two of our top clients with Sonic VA, they're social media influencers who are business coaches to female entrepreneurs who specialize in doing direct selling and network marketing, primarily with health and beauty products. So that's a very narrow niche, right? So they're American, they're middle-aged, they're female, they're looking to sell beauty products. So a VA who has a background with that, who understands some of that, who can relate to that, will be much more effective than somebody who really has no idea what is Avon, what is Mary Kay. If you've never heard of these things before, and you start working for a client, you're going to have to get up to speed really quickly. Now, a lot of a lot of clients will hire a VA who's got good communication skills, good background. They'll hire you based on the interview and kind of what your resume looks like. But in the end, if you're going to be successful, it's because you figured out how to provide solutions to clients in this niche. Right. So if you're good at selling, if you're good at trying to promote things, if you're good at making videos or graphics that get clicks, then you could be very helpful to that kind of client. And so, again, this is a trial and error thing, especially if you're new. You're not going to just be able to figure it out day one, but you got to give yourself a chance to figure this out. And if you're going to be successful as a virtual assistant within a year or so of starting, you should know yourself well enough to know what you're really good at. And you should know what kind of clients you want to serve. Because if you haven't figured that out, then I don't know how successful you're going to be. So, and no one's going to just train you. No one's going to hire you and tell you, do this, do this, do this, do this. You're going to have to figure a lot about yourself. One of the biggest areas that I see Filipino virtual assistants struggle with, especially newbies who are transitioning from an office job or even a call center job, trying to become a virtual assistant, is they're waiting to be told what to do. And small business owners, who are the ones that hire most virtual assistants, they don't really tell you what to do because they don't know. Small business owners live in chaos. They're hiring a virtual assistant because they're too busy to get everything done they need to get done. And so they want to free up their time so they can focus on what they do best by hiring a VA to do everything else. So if they're hiring you to do their lead generation, it's because they don't have time to do it themselves and they need it in their business. So when you're talking about trying to find the right client, trying to land clients, you want to know how you can help them solve problems. And you want to frame it that way. This we'll talk about more. We talk about the value proposition. How do you frame the solutions you can offer to a client so they say yes when you get an interview or when you send a resume? They're taking note of why you and not the other 199 people who applied for the same job you did. I hope that makes sense. So when you define your target audience, you first have to recognize that lead generation is vital for every business. Lead generation is vital for business growth. It's a steady influx of potential customers will mitigate risk and allow growth. So really, there's three areas that you need to focus on. We talked about the self-assessment, knowing what you're good at, and specialization, knowing what kind of clients you want to serve. You want to evaluate your skills, your industry knowledge, and your past experiences to identify your core strengths as a VA and align them with specific client needs. Again, what have you done so far in your life that got you to this point? You probably worked somewhere before, or you went to school somewhere before, or you volunteered somewhere before, and you built up some sense of expertise. You may not have experience as a virtual assistant, but you have experience that you can use to relate to what you need to do as a virtual assistant. And you figure those things out and you offer those. You want to do client profiling, right? Determine the ideal client type based on your factors like geography, business size, budget, and common challenges they face. Again, if you like going on Instagram and you click on a lot of pictures of models because you love looking at women looking their best, and you really get into makeup and you like to understand how to position your camera best to make sure that you have the best selfies. You're really all about understanding image. It's important to you and you're good at it. Well, that's the kind of client you want to work with, right? If you're somebody who's very good at taking landscape pictures, very outdoorsy, you've got a lot of pictures on your social media of great pictures of Mount Bayon or the beaches of Boracay, wherever you've traveled, and you put a lot of travel photos up there, well, then that's kind of helping you define what kind of niche you're going to be good at. Because you look at what you do yourself, and that leads you to the kind of clients you want to work for. And again, then you figure out these kind of clients, what are their pain points? Now, if I'm a travel blogger and I have a travel agency, and I need a VA to manage my social media, I want a VA who understands traveling, who, whether they travel it themselves, they know how to position the photos. They know how to like find the right videos. They know how to be able to do things that make people want to click on, yeah, I want to travel there too. So whether, whatever it is you do, you turn that into how you profile clients. Now, some VAs are very successful working for clients they have nothing in common with. But for the most part, you're going to find that you like working for the people that you're working for because you have some kind of commonality. Now, this will make a difference as far as things like geography. So, for example, if you want to work for American clients, then you're probably going to have to work at least part of your shift will be at night here in the Philippines, right? Because American business hours are about 12 hours opposite of the Philippines. If you want to work more, daytime hours in the Philippines, then maybe you look for Australian clients because they're closer to our time zone. So you figure things like geography. You look at business size, right? Do you want to work for solopreneurs, people that just need one VA part-time? Or do you want to have a full-time job? Do you want to be looking for somebody that wants you to be able to edit graphics and do videos full-time? That would be a bigger business, right? Very few small business owners have full-time virtual assistants. Look at your budget. How much can you afford to live on? And how much can clients afford to pay you? So some people may tell you, oh, charge whatever you think you're worth. And there's some truth to that, but you have to look at the market and figure out where you fit in that market. So for example, the average Filipino virtual assistant makes about $4 an hour, about 200 pesos an hour. That's better than most jobs you could find. It's better than what you would get paid if you worked at Jollibee or worked at SM. It's even better than a lot of call center jobs. $4 an hour full time over a month is about 32,000 pesos. It's a pretty good salary, right? But it's hard to find full-time work as a virtual assistant because most virtual assistants have multiple clients and only work on the average about 20 hours a week. So you're probably trying to live off of 16,000 pesos a month instead of 32, unless you're fully employed. So if you need to make more than 16,000 pesos, you either need to charge more or you need to find more clients. Now, charging more sounds great, but it's hard to find clients that will pay you what you think you're worth because we live in a world where people compete for the lowest possible denominator when it comes to cost. And most business owners are strapped. Most business owners aren't rich. Most business owners are struggling. They're maxing out their credit cards. They're using up all their savings. They're doing whatever it takes to make their business grow. And they don't have tons of money to hire a VA and pay them $10 an hour. They can barely afford to pay a VA $4 an hour. That's the reality. So you got to figure this out. What is your price point? Look at the competition. Look what other people that do what you do are charging. Now you can see this by going on looking at online jobs PH or going on Fiverr or going on Upwork and looking to see what the people are offering their services for. As a Filipino virtual assistant, my general rule is I don't pay anybody less than $4 an hour unless they're an intern, and then maybe I'll pay them like $3 an hour, but that's the minimum. VAs have to make a living wage. You can't live off of $1 an hour. No one can live off of getting paid 50 pesos an hour. If that was the case, then you might as well just work in an office or work in a retail business. So once you figure out what you're worth, and the better you are at something, the more you can charge. For example, if you're starting out as a VA, $4 an hour makes sense. But if you're really good at something, if you're one of the best video editors out there, if you've got clients that constantly refer business to you and that rave about you publicly on their social media, then you should be charging $10 an hour or more. Like our top video editing team, the ones that do video editing for our top clients, we pay them $8 to $10 an hour. So they're making double or even more than what the average VA is making because they're so good at it and they found the right clients that's willing to pay for it. So they determine their target market. We work with these women entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs who are trying to grow a direct selling or a network marketing business, offering beauty products and skin products and health products. And that's our niche. And we know what it takes to do good videos for them. We use a lot of pink, a lot of fun sound effects, a lot of things that are girly, things that look good on IG or TikTok. And so we play in that market and we really, really do well. So, and of course, you want to look at the common challenges. Most people aren't good at video editing. Most people aren't good at graphics. Probably 1 out of 5 people that you meet at any given time are actually good at video editing, graphic design. I'm not good at it. That's why all my videos and all my graphics are done by somebody else. I could never make this PowerPoint slide you see in front of you. I put the text in there, but somebody else, a graphic designer on my team, did the entire presentation, the colors, the design. That somebody who's more artistic than me. So most business owners will outsource their graphics and video editing, especially if they want to be able to be consistent and provide high quality content. The thing you have to do is to define your target audience. You want to do continuous research and refine it. Engage in industry research, feedback collection, predictive reassessment to ensure your target audience remains relevant and aligned with market needs. So what's happening in the industry you're serving? So for example, real estate. There's a lot of VAs who have experience working for real estate agents. And the market has always been a pretty good market, especially up until the pandemic. There were a lot of real estate agents being very successful. There's a lot of margin, a big margin on selling homes in the US. And so they're able to pay VAs to do lead generation, for example. But that's kind of changed. There's been a big trend in the US since the pandemic. A lot of homes are being bought by big corporations, and they're no longer being marketed and sold by real estate agents. They're being marketed and sold by big corporate agents, which basically don't need VAs because they have an entire internal team of full-time graphic designers and social media managers and video editors. So maybe you could work for them full-time in a full-time gig, but traditional virtual assistants, where it's freelance and it's kind of part-time and it kind of ebbs and flows, that market is drying up rapidly. So if you're a real estate VA working for real estate agents in the US, you're finding to be very competitive right now because the market is shrinking. So you want to stay on top of trends like that, right? So when you figure out what you're good at and you figure out the niche that you want to play in, you figure your target audience, you want to make sure you stay current. I see a lot of VAs struggle with social media because they get stuck in a pattern of doing the same thing over again. Social media ages quickly. What was viral in TikTok 6 months ago will not be viral now, and definitely won't be viral in 6 months from now. What works in IG now did not work, or what you do on IG now has to be new than what you did in IG a year ago. Things constantly change. The way we do stories, the way we do our presentations, videos are getting shorter, they're getting more interesting, they're getting more, they got to grab your attention in 8 seconds or less, kind of thing. So you want to constantly refine what you do. So that's how you define your target audience, right? So who are you? What are you best at? What do you love to do? What industry do you think you can support? How will you solve the problems of the people in the industry? How will you bring together a good value proposition? And that's what we'll talk about next.